A wise old man once said of success, success is not an accident. It's hard work, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love what you are doing. But guys, doesn't matter what level of success you achieve, don't wear crocs for official events. Please, just don't. Unless you are Sergey Brin. 14th richest man on the planet with $63 billion net worth, co-founder of Google and former president of Alphabet Inc. Sergey Brin is probably the only one person on the planet who has the right to wear crocs wherever he damn well pleases. Today we're talking about Sergey Brin and his rise from Russia to Google co-founder. I would say from Russia with love. Let's get into it. But before that, click Google button, like button. It helps video became viral and Sergey Brin, real owner of YouTube, will buy a new pair of Crocs. I'm kidding. Let's go. Hi guys, this is Dmitry Bondar. I'm also a first-generation business immigrant who moved to United States in 2016. Like Sergey Brin, I was born in ex-Soviet Union and I also hate Soviet Union and Communist Party. But I also like Google and Googliness of employees, their passion and drive and how Google used all these technologies to make the world a better place. Sergey Brin has had quite the life. He was born in Moscow, Russia, in what was the USSR. Having Jewish parents meant tough early years as his father and mother were limited to what they could study or do for a living. Eventually, when Sergey was 6 years old, his father moved his family out of the country. They bounced from Austria, Vienna to Maryland, United States, where they settled in a humble suburban home. When it came to being smart, Sergey didn't just follow the apple tree either. His father settled in as a mathematics professor of University of Maryland, while his mother went to work for NASA as a researcher. He attended University of Maryland and received a bachelor's degree in computer science. Finally, he would set off to Stanford University in California, where his attempt at a PhD would lead to what is widely considered as the greatest internet search engine service on the planet and beyond into other internet ventures. At student orientation, Sergey met Larry Page, who would go on to be his co-founder at Google. In the beginning, they weren't exactly the best buds. The two eventually got along through heated debates and disagreement. In fact, Sergey has noted that they pretty much disregard in everything. Still, after spending enough time together, they became what Sergey is quoted as saying intellectual soulmates and close friends. This friendship and the ability to work together despite being at odds was an essential formula for success of Google. After working together on a paper, Larry and Sergey discovered that their ultimate friendship bond was over the common love of extracting data from large datasets. What else are true friends for after all? After turning in a co-authored essay on web search engines, the two immediately began working on the PageRank algorithm. They knew there was a big discovery and that it could be used to develop a far more advanced web search engine than existing ones at that time. Keep in mind that these were two students. They didn't have any money and neither came from wealthy backgrounds. They didn't run out and buy office space and supplies. They look around and in an inventive spirit they use the materials around them. Larry Page's dorm was transformed into machine lab. They extracted spare parts from inexpensive computers and created a device to connect this search engine to Stanford's broadband campus network. Then they discovered Brin's dorm into office and programming center. Here they would begin testing the earliest version of Google. So what is the takeaway number one from this part of the story? You need to have a friend or intellectual soulmate to start a business and build something cool and innovative. You have to be like a Tango and Cash, Tommy, Jerry, Harry Potter and Hermione, Mulder and Scully from X-Files. I'm done with my list of best friends forever. Let's go further. Not long after making this version of Google available on Stanford's website, Brin and Page both put their PhDs on the pause and left Stanford. They would not return. They moved from school and opened up a Google in the garage of a friend. Keep in mind, it wasn't even their garage, it was a friend's garage. Sergey Brin worked incredibly hard and drew on experience from his own childhood to block out the noise. In some interviews, he speaks to the bullying that he faced for his accent as a child immigrant. Still, he excelled and used education as a way to escape and feel proud despite how others treated him. It was the same mindset that allowed him to begin developing Google. In their first stages, they received 3 investments from angel investors, one of which included Jeff Bezos, who was just getting Amazon's going. These initial investments totaling $1 million led them moving into official building in Menlo Park, California. They would grow, and Google began exploding. And wait, hold on a second. Let's take one step back and look at something very important. What is the takeaway number 2 from this business story? Stay lean. Do baby steps. You have to prove that your business model is a viable business model. You have to build that entrepreneurs call a minimum viable product. And only after that, move forward. Sergey Brin did it and exploded. Before this, angel investors Brin and Larry tried to sell Google a few times. They tried to sell to a company known in the past as Alta Vista, and then again they tried to sell to Yahoo. Neither company wanted them, they were both turned down. Little did these companies know they would be missing out on what would become one of the most influential tech companies in history. This was another important business mindset moment for Sergey Brin. They didn't stop, they just pivoted. They went to investors and decided they would go do it themselves. That courage is an important part of their success. It was calculated courage, but courage nonetheless to drop out of Stanford and take a shot at making Google a success. This is also what led to Google's business strategy of diversification. The company has hinged its success on getting their hands on lots and lots of different ventures, and it helped them to become number 1. And here is our takeaway number 3. If it's possible, try to build a diversified business strategy. Try to build a product by product in different niches, and you will become a global company. As Google moved from one office to another bigger one, Sergey Brin began developing a new part of Google that would allow them finally make revenue. He decided they would use advertisement on the site to make money, but they did it in a way that no one really had yet. Sergey Brin decided they would not put advertisement on the homepage, they would use the search results. Advertisement links were placed in search results along with the searcher's organic results. This was a huge step for them and would make a bigger difference in their brand and public presentation. See, Sergey Brin already knew people didn't like advertisement for things people didn't want, but if an advertisement popped up for something you were already searching for, you were that much more likely to click on it. Consider what a business decision like that means and why it's successful. It's not just putting the customer or user first, it's more honest in a lot of different ways. They would become a huge part of Google business success in future. They have wanted to improve technology and the world, and while they aren't perfect, they always try to have an honest approach. don't do evil. The company would move into a much bigger complex dubbed Googleplex. This would become their home base as they grew over the years. In the early 2000s, the pair had grown so large that the word Google has been added to the dictionary to describe an internet search. Not only that, but they soon would become a public company. At this point, Sergey Brin helped lead Google towards its next big step. He helped the company diversify. The company went into 2012 with 50 billion in revenue. Sergey Brin has already started dipping his toes into acquisitions of other companies and ventures. This would become a major part of Google business model and goes to the core of Brin's entrepreneurial spirit. He understood that Google couldn't do everything on its own. He also understood that customers were becoming dependent on Google, and he could secure that by bringing in other popular services. Some websites that you now know, for example, as YouTube and Skybox, now known as Google Maps, were acquired by Google. Some might look at this strategy as a disruptive, but Brin saw its adaptation. They didn't want to destroy these amazing ideas, but wanted to bring them into the fold of Google so they could grow. And our lesson number 4. If you cannot build a great product by yourself, you can buy the whole company who produces this product. This business strategy is commonly used among Silicon Valley tech companies. This new strategy of acquisitions may go back to Brin's humble origins. He often speaks to how grateful he is for have been able to come to United States, but also it's about being able to have opportunities and celebrating the opportunities that you have had. You can see how this mindset could be applied to Google's new diversification strategy. Sergey Brin was open to Google's being more than a search engine company. He wanted them to explore new things and wasn't afraid of what might happen to revenue. He's embraced changes in the company and marketplace. When a company is successful, they will often become stuck in their ways and wait until things start to fail. But Sergey Brin saw beyond that and took advantage of opportunities when they came to Google. In 2015, Google decided they would reorganize their various interests as a conglomerate called Alphabet. Google became Alphabet's leading subsidiary and will continue to be the umbrella company for Alphabet's internet interest. You may ask why Sergey Brin and Larry Page reorganized their businesses. Well, here is one business takeaway that I would say takeaway number 5 of this story. If you want to see how good is your businesses or departments or business lines, business units, give them autonomy, give them a separated financial profit and loss statements, and you will see who is worse and who is better. Sergey Brin did it to divide a very profitable business like Google advertisement from unprofitable ones, let's say cost centers like Google X, where they tested different, sometimes very money-consuming ideas. By the way, nowadays Google is still growing. Sergey Brin has stepped down as the president of Alphabet as of December 2019. He has amassed an unbelievable fortune and has left a mark on the world that will certainly go down in history. So what we can study from Sergey Brin's business story, from his way of starting a business and company? What can you use for your business and in your entrepreneurial life? Let's make a final summary. First of all, let's think about the founding of Google and the unbelievable bromance that seemed to form between Sergey Brin and Larry Page. If there is one important lesson to take away from that chapter of Google's history, is that disagreement within a team doesn't always mean things aren't working out. In the case of Sergey Brin and Larry Page, it was their disagreements that led to discovery. Be graceful and understanding in a team dynamic. You don't have to always be right, and you should only work with the team members who hold that core value as well. Success in a business or getting to financial success means exploring new ideas and taking calculated risk. It also means working closely with those around to bring one another up. You can't get there alone. Secondly, when Brin and Page tried to sell Google and failed, they didn't back down. They just pivoted, in other words, changed their product. They had faith in their ideas because they had faith in themselves. When it came time to make revenue, Sergey Brin turned to ads on the side. But he considered what ads mean for the platform. He put the customer first and the user first. This kind of thinking takes a certain amount of honesty and often puts people to the test in terms of what they really want. And last but not the least, Sergey Brin talks all the time in interviews about being grateful for his upbringing and for opportunities that came this way. He didn't live this in his childhood. When it comes to Google and business in general, he's not afraid to explore new ideas and take calculated risk. So yeah, don't be one of these silly businesses tripping all over themselves when it comes time to look to the future. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to be a so successful billionaire like Sergey Brin and have the freedom to wear your Crocs shoes wherever you want, click like button immediately or subscribe. And Google and YouTube algorithms help you and me to be successful. See you, my YouTube friends. Bye.